Two guys and a gal talking about movies. Two guys and a gal, they're talking about movies. And you know, they are really groovy. Two guys and a gal talking about movies. Two guys and a gal talking about movies. Two guys and a gal, they're talking about movies. And we know they are really groovy.
Hello, everybody, and welcome to another live edition of Two Guys and a Gal talking about movies. Tonight, the guys have chosen A-lister, comedic actor. His father is extremely famous, just as he is, and we're talking about Ben Stiller. You've probably seen at least one of his movies, if not all of his movies. He's a pop culture phenomenon. He is beloved by everybody in the industry. There's not a lot of bad blood going on around Ben Stiller. And he is the master of being able to express with his emotion and with his energy kind of a likable, approachable guy. He can do a rom com. He can also project somebody who's absolutely outlandish and weird and just out there, but you always kind of like him. So, to get in deeper about our Ben Stiller extravaganza and our love, let's talk to your guys, Manny Zamora, of course, and maybe a cat
Howdy.
and a dog cameo, maybe. And then Rory,
You never know.
and here's Rory. It's
Well, there's the cat.
yeah. We
Yeah,
hope
you never
for a
know.
cat
You might
cameo.
get
We
a
hope.
yeah. You never sure if we get a dog cameo. Yes, Ben Stiller. Great.
He is a likable guy.
He is a likable guy. Yeah, started off in TV. He had his own show for a while. Son of I forget his name.
Jerry Stiller.
Sherry Stiller, thank you, and Mira.
And Mira.
Yeah. And Ben Stiller's or his dad is probably best known as is it is it Constanza's dad on
I think it's Costanza's dad, on Seinfeld.
on Seinfeld, yeah.
Renee may correct us. She's all about the Larry David stuff.
Yeah.
Jerry Stiller is Seinfeld to me. I mean, the entire show to me is basically Jerry Stiller being hilarious and talking about, basically insulting his son in the most warm ways and weird ways possible.
Yeah.
And my favorite part, and he plays an Italian man. He's from Italy. And my favorite thing is when he starts yelling, the character, he yells that's why I could never be president, is because I was born in Italy, which, overlooking the dramatic other problems with why he can't be president. I mean, there are so many assorted and sundry reasons why Frank Costanza could never be president. But anyways, I digress.
Not to mention
Not to
mention the creation of probably the best holiday ever, Festivus. The holiday for the rest of us, where we have feast and then the airing of grievances, and then a fight. So I mean, that's how you should celebrate the Festivus. But we're not here to talk about Jerry. We're here to talk about Ben and his movies
and his accomplishments.
Exactly.
I'm sure his father's very proud of him.
I'm sure he is. Yeah. Well, like I said, he had his own show in the 80s or 90s.
Yes.
The Ben Stiller Show.
Back when he was dating Janine Garofalo.
Exactly. Yeah. So, all right. Well, let's start naming off our favorites. And Rory, why don't you start this time?
Okay. I think that probably his earliest huge success, which was the Farrelly Brothers, There's Something About Mary. I don't think he's topped it. I don't think he's done better than he has done in that movie. Mm-hmm. That was one of the funniest movies. It still is. I mean, just hysterically non-PC. And what's the other one? Dumb and Dumber. It's just it's a wonderful ensemble cast, playing really crazy characters. Chris Elliott, I don't think has ever been funnier than his character in that movie.
Yeah.
Who would have thought that Matt Dillon could have been that funny, And
Exactly,
Lee
yeah.
Evans, the British comedian. I wish we could see more movies with him in it because he's a funny guy. And
Mhm.
I love Mouse Hunt. I love him and Nathan Lane in Mouse Hunt. It's a hysterical slapstick movie
Yeah.
with a little cowbell. But this movie,
Yes.
yeah, I mean, he actually plays. What's ironic about this is he plays a pizza guy, an American pizza guy, who's pretending to be a suave British, and he really is British. But when they look at his license and they capture him, the other guys, it's like, okay, man, I love her, man. He plays a California pizza dude.
Yeah.
A lot
Of
of
course,
fun.
yeah, and of course, we we can't talk about something about Mary without talking about Cameron Diaz and her performance.
Oh yeah, yes.
Uh, as Mary of the title. And yeah, the Farrelly brothers. I'll just say it, this is my number one as well. So,
Awesome.
uh,
I thought it would be.
yeah,
It
yeah,
doesn't get any better than this,
it,
as far as
it
Ben
really,
Stiller world.
it really doesn't. Absolutely right. This is peak Stiller, or Stiller at his peak. Um, and yeah, Cameron Diaz, Matt Dillon, like you said, who knew he could do comedy, but he was hysterical. Uh, Chris Elliott, yeah. So yeah, great cast, great story. The Farrelly brothers, along with the Zuckers, and some of the other, really changed comedy.
Mm.
You know, a little bit more gross out humor than
Yes.
we see. Just silly sight gags. The use of how do I put this? Bodily fluids in comedy.
Yeah, it's hair
Uh,
gel. It's hair gel.
it's hair gel. That's exactly. Is that hair gel? Probably that's probably the one thing that most people probably remember about this movie is that scene with the hair gel. So yeah. So there you go.
Yeah.
All right.
Again,
So
all the way around, just very funny, very entertaining, very entertaining. The
yeah,
scenes with the dog.
the scene with the dog. Yes. Oh my God. Winding up in
Now
the
that's
body
Stiller's
cab.
best comedy shtick in the movie. Is that?
Yeah.
What was so funny, that and the zipper.
Oh yeah.
But
How'd you get the Frank on top of the beans? Or the beans on top of the Franks?
Beans and
my
Franks.
God. Beans and Franks. Oh my God. Yeah.
Stiller actually plays straight man for a lot of this movie.
Yeah.
To the other characters. But again, the point was that this guy had to be so incredibly likable, that we would all be rooting for him through all of this.
Right,
and everybody else is so obnoxious and just so self-centered. It's just so yeah, it's again just top notch Stiller.
Yeah.
Without him going overboard.
Yeah. And probably the fact that he does play the straight man to everybody else's kind of wackiness is what makes the movie so great. But
again, when he's put in situations, when he's put into comical situations, yeah, like when the dog is attacking him, and when he's trying to get the zipper, and I mean, he does very well,
Yeah. Oh yeah.
So he balances it.
Right. Alrighty then. So number 2 on my list is Zoolander.
Okay.
Where here Ben Stiller plays Derek Zoolander, a top American male model, and there's his patented look, blue steel. Again, just now this one is very over the top. His performance Owen Wilson, Will Ferrell, uh, and a fairly straight performance from Christine Taylor, who shows up again in another movie. Just just a great little skewering of the fashion world and modeling. Uh, and my favorite scene is where he and all the male models are at the gas station and they're pouring gasoline. You know, they have a little slow motion. It's almost like a video, and then they start pouring gasoline on each other, and everybody blows up. You know, in any other context, that would be horrifying. You know, if that were like in a Final Destination movie, everybody would be like, horrified. But in this situation, you know, again, it's all context. It's hilarious. And just the dim-wittedness of him and Owen Wilson's character. It's a very funny movie.
Now, the sequel that they did didn't have Owen Wilson, right? They had the guy from Napoleon Dynamite as his sidekick, right? Am I right?
I'm trying to remember. No, I think Wilson was in it as well, but also, yeah, the kid from
Yeah, you're
Napoleon
right.
Dynamite, John Peter, or Heder. Never sure how to pronounce his name. He was also in it. I think Will Ferrell was back in that one.
Will Ferrell was in both of them, yeah, the first and
Yeah.
second one.
Yeah, the second one was okay. It still didn't top the first one. I think the first one is still, I think, the best one of all the Zoolander movies. So, all right, so that was my number 2.
Yeah, it got an honorable mention from me, but not on my top 5 list. I think it's kind of a one joke premise.
Yeah.
Again, I do like Will Ferrell's shtick in it, but I haven't really seen the second one, obviously, because I said what I said. But but yeah, the first one was just like, it's funny, but yeah. Mystery Men is my number 2.
Oh, okay.
Their skewering of the this you know, all the superhero movies.
Yeah.
Which and they didn't know that, you know, Marvel was going to open up a whole new, you know, superhero movie franchise afterwards. This is number 2 because Ben Stiller, even though it's an ensemble piece, Ben Stiller is very funny as his character, who's supposed to be like an angry guy.
Yeah.
But he doesn't quite get there.
Yeah, Mr. Furious.
And you've got Paul Rubens as the spleen. And Hank Azaria as the what was his character's name?
The
Blue Raja. The Blue Raja.
Yeah.
And
William H. Macy as the shoveler. Yeah. And Janine Garofalo as the bowler.
Janine Garofalo is the bowler. But even the smaller character roles, you know, well, and the villains too. I mean, you had Eddie Izzard and Jeffrey Rush.
Yeah.
And who's the superhero that they end up? The original superhero.
Yeah.
Greg Kinnear.
Greg Kinnear. Thank you. Yeah, I just blanked out on his name. Yeah, Greg Kinnear is the corporate superhero.
Right. It's got all the. It looks like he's at a race car place with all the badges.
Yeah, he's got all the
sponsors all over his superhero uniform.
Exactly. Yeah.
And he is actually the one who lets Casanova Frankenstein, his arch villain, go, so he can have some fun again, you know, with a real villain.
Exactly.
Tom Waits does a bit in it as the guy that gives them their gadgets.
Yeah, that's right.
It just, just wonderful wonderful cast, and again, very funny movie, very tongue in cheek.
Mm-hmm.
And it's what you would think would really happen if, you know, just regular schmoes would try to be superheroes.
Yeah. It seemed like the only one who actually had any powers to speak of was Jeanine Garofalo's character, with her sort of weird bowling ball with a skull in it.
Right.
Uh,
Her
but
father's skull
her father's skull, yeah. But
and his ghost.
yeah. Well, I got to say that one is actually my number 5 movie.
Oh wow.
But yeah, I could have ranked it higher, I guess, but
And the audition scene
yes,
where they're auditioning heroes to join their club.
yeah.
Again, very
Yeah.
funny movie. Very, very funny movie. And again, I am partial to superhero shtick anyway. And the
Oh
fact
yeah,
that this one
yeah,
is just making fun of that, and it's it's well meaning. It's it's mindless, well meaning fun.
yep, yep. Well, I'll say a couple more things about it when we get to number 5. But so what was your number 3?
Number 3 was Tropic Thunder.
Mm,
Um,
yes.
and again, another ensemble piece, but his character is kind of the main character. You know, he's the reason
Hmm.
that all these guys are together and doing this movie.
Right.
And
Yeah.
uh, again, just when you see a Ben Stiller movie, there's always going to be things that you don't expect to happen in the
Yeah.
movie, like the scene where the director blows up. It's Steve Coogan, you know, another one of my favorites. I just love him. He's just great.
Yeah. Yeah.
He's like Peter Cook, young, you know, all over again. I
Yeah.
love his
Yeah.
deadpan
That's
kind of thing
yeah.
going on, and
Yeah.
yeah. So they're trying to film a film in Nam, and all kinds of bad things happen. Robert Downey Jr. is playing a character who's an Australian. He's supposed to be like Russell Crowe, but he's a
Hmm.
method actor and he's playing a black character. It's just, and then you've got Jack Black, you know, thrown in the mix. And again, Tom, even the small characters like Tom Cruise and Matthew McConaughey,
Yeah.
just
Yeah.
hysterical little bits that they just throw in, you know, with these
Yeah.
cameos that they do. Tom Cruise
Yeah.
looking worse than he ever has in his life, and dancing.
Dancing, but it was hilarious. I didn't even know it was Cruise at first, and then I started
Yeah,
listening to the voice. It's like that sounds like Tom Cruise, and sure enough, but so again, so over the top, and so and I always thought that Ben Stiller was Tug Speedman was playing a version of Tom Cruise, that kind of action hero,
well, and
basically
funny you
doing
should
the
say
same
that because
movie over and
around the
over.
same time, he was doing shorts with Cruise where he was pretending to be like Cruise's stunt double named
Yeah,
Tom
yeah,
Cruise, but he spells it differently, like Croos or something. That is one of the most
right.
hysterical things that they have done, or that he has done.
Yeah.
Stiller is that little short where he pretends he's in Mission Impossible 2 and he's bothering John Woo on the set. And he just always shows up whenever Tom Cruise does a movie.
Hmm. Yeah.
He's
And I,
harmless. He's harmless.
and I love all the spoofing of all the Vietnam movies, Apocalypse Now and Platoon and all those, there's even
Yeah.
that scene uh where it's kind of his death scene, it's very much like the one from Platoon and all that. And it's just great. It's just a great movie.
Don't go full retard.
You never
I
get an
saw
Academy
this in the
Award.
theater, and when I saw him coming over the hill with that little guy on his shoulder, I thought I was gonna hit the floor. I was laughing so hard
Yeah, yeah.
in slow motion.
In slow motion, yeah. And then he starts stabbing him, it's like throws him off. Oh, yeah. But I love McConaughey. I love his agent. his commitment to his client, you know, trudging all the way to the jungle to bring him, I don't know what, a DVR or something. Yeah, all the little bits, and even the kid who plays the leader of the rebels or whatever they are, the drug dealers. Just just great all the way around. Yeah. Well, as much as I love that movie, that one only made an honorable mention
Oh wow.
because my third
Renee
movie.
knew. She knew.
So my number three. My
It was
number
the
three is
cameo, the animal cameo.
the animal cameo. Yeah. The animal. I'm thinking of the cameo. Yeah, he's left the room. She's left the room. Anyway, so my number blah blah blah. I believe blah 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 blah.
Anyway,
No, yeah. So, dodgeball
what's
is
that?
my number three. Huh?
Oh,
Dodgeball.
dodgeball. Okay.
Dodgeball. Yes. Where Stiller actually plays a bad guy.
He plays the villain. Yeah.
Usually he plays the villain of the story, and Vince Vaughn is the hero. And it is an underdog story, as the top subtitle says.
Mhm.
And it's again a very funny movie, and it's just kind of unexpected to see Stiller playing this obnoxious character that, you know, is all about being buff and strong, and he's the owner of all this gym franchise, you know, and he's trying to take over this little gym that or this kind of almost sort of the gym for losers that Vince Vaughn runs, but it has a lot of funny moments, and of course my favorite line is when Vince Vaughn finally has enough and like socks him one. It's like, nobody makes me bleed my own blood. I don't know. It's just
That sounds like a Stiller original.
Yeah. So it's just a very funny movie, and all the little characters, all the other little characters or smaller roles, so funny, so, you know, it's really fleshed out, and funny in their own way. But yeah, I and again, it's another. I mean, it's really supposed to be Vince Vaughn's movie, but Stiller is such a standout as the villain who winds up getting his comeuppance at the end, of course.
Mm.
And there's a scene, the credit scene where, you know, he's all, because he used to be, you know, large, and then he lost all the weight, and that's why he's so, you know, and then at the end you see him in basically the fat suit, you know, and he's just really disgusting. I mean, it's like an even grosser version of Fat Bastard from the Austin Powers movie. So I had to include that one as my. Yeah. So that's
I wanted to see if I could find a picture of Missy Pyle. She was in that as the unibrow dodgeball player, and she looks so different.
Yeah,
she's a very attractive character actress, but she does very funny characters. And,
Renee, can you get on that?
I'll get on that. What? Tell me again the name.
Oh, Missy Pyle, Missi Pyle, Pyle.
Oh.
As the dodgeball player in Dodgeball.
Yeah. So
that gets an honorable mention from me.
Yeah. So. Well, before we go on, and while Renee's searching for that, let's take a short break, and we'll be right back after these words. Amazing.
That was
Amazing.
powerful. That
Thank
was
you.
powerful.
I love it. It's so in tune with the actual subject matter. It's important, it's solemn, it's intense, it's invigorating, it's positive. So Manny, tell us a little bit about that.
Well, I am the creator. Well, me and my girlfriend created this superhero called La Salvadora. She is the champion of animals. She has this mystical power where she can kind of communicate with animals, and she tries to protect them from all kinds of different villains and people who want to exploit them and mistreat them. And in her civilian guise, she's a veterinarian at this animal sanctuary and rescue. And yeah, the latest issue is out, issue number 5. And it's available on the website, which you see on your screen, www.janellebean.com. And there's other stuff there too. We have children's books, and there's a novel that I wrote, and a novel that Janelle wrote. And so there's a little bit of something for everyone there. If you have kids, or you just kind of, or if you're into comic books, just you can go there. How's that for a
Rory, don't
pitch?
show it. Rory, don't show it. I have it. I already have it. Okay. Oh, but here's the thing. Rory was trying to show the Missy thing, but I just wanted to say yes. So La Salvadora is what my new addiction. I've been reading them at night ever since I had the cryptid one, which I'm not going to reveal which cryptid is in one of the episodes, one of the issues. But
But it's
this is,
purple.
if you like anything at all, because I'm not even a graphic novel person, I'm not even a comic book person, and I feel like I'm watching these as movies. It's incredible. So even if you're not a comic book person, but Rory is an actual artist and an actual comic book person, and he loves it. So his advice, I think, means even more than mine.
2
And
thumbs up.
2 thumbs up. It's enchanting, it's intense, it's engaging. I am addicted, even if I didn't like Manny at all and I didn't know him. I'm the one who even said to
Which
him,
she
let's
doesn't.
talk
She
these
hates me.
wares, because other people, I want to share them with, like, I get into the monkeys, I like Bonanza, I want people to watch stuff that I like. This is something that I like. So
I didn't know you were in a Bonanza.
I'm obsessed with Bonanza. I'm an Adam person. You can tell a
Bonanza.
lot about who someone's favorite Golden Girls is, and favorite Cartwright brother.
The monkeys should have been
Adam
on
Carter.
Bonanza, I think.
But yes, so go to
I like all Cartwright.
janellebean.com. Go to janellebean.com, and you can also get them on Amazon, correct? As well. If you just put in La
Yes,
Salvadora,
yeah,
it comes up.
yeah.
So,
But it's
all
easier
right.
to go through the website because I want to drive some traffic there.
Let's
So
get some traffic. So go to the website. Forget about Amazon. Those hacks with the cock
exactly,
rocket and the Bezos. We don't need his cock rocket.
we
Forget
don't
I
need a
said
stock
Amazon.
rocket.
Okay.
You
And
should
now
put one
what
of those in the
Rory
next
was
issue.
and now what Rory was saying is, of course, we have this is she really looks like this, actually. Rory,
Yes.
walk us through this.
Yeah, Missy Pyle again has done a lot of movies. She was in the Willy Wonka remake, not the new one, but the one that Tim Burton did. She was one of the mothers. She
Mhm.
was in Galaxy Quest as the alien who falls for the ship's engineer. She's done a lot of movies. She's done a lot of character roles in movies, and this one really stood out with me. I guess because she's wearing teeth, which I like. There you go.
Yeah, there you look
And
at
she's got
that.
the unibrow, so she's got a kind of a Frida Kahlo thing happening there. And again, it just when she
Uh,
does a character, it usually doesn't look like her. It
yeah,
looks she's like the Peter Sellers of female character actors. She
I know.
totally transforms.
Yeah, I love the Princess Leia buns that she's got on. Uh, yeah, it's just talk about disappearing into a role. I mean, so and the big mole on the side of it's great. Yeah, I love it. I love their character in that.
Yeah, she's very memorable in her roles, and deserves a little honorable mention too.
Yeah, yeah. Oh, and I mentioned Christine Taylor earlier. She's the female attorney in that movie, and she was also in Zoolander. No, not Zoolander. Something About Mary.
Okay.
So, anywho, just a little shout out to her.
Righty.
All right. So we're at number 4, I believe.
Number 4.
Okay.
My number 4 was Night at the Museum.
Okay.
The series. There's 3 of them actually.
Yeah.
It's
Wait,
hard.
are there
It's hard
4?
to steal focus. Was that?
I think there are 4 actually.
Is there 4?
I think so.
I know of 3.
Okay. Okay.
It's hard to stay in focus when you're working with Robin Williams. But he manages to do it. And again, he creates a very likable character who's kind of a straight guy to all the shenanigans that are going on in the museum. And
Nice.
for that reason, I think it's a great acting job, and I like him in that.
Yeah. Yeah.
And you have a great ensemble in it again. In the first one, you had Dick Van Dyke, Mickey Rooney, and there was another guy who I can't remember his name. And they play the keepers of the museum and the secret of the museum.
Yeah, and I think isn't Owen Wilson also in there somewhere?
Owen Wilson,
Like
plays the
cowboy
cowboy.
character?
Yeah.
Yeah, he and Wilson are great. It's such a great
Now there's a
pairing of
Keith
them.
David and there's a David Keith, and I believe it's David Keith that does his thing with Owen Wilson in that. But
Yeah,
Keith
David Keith.
David was the father, the stepfather in Something About Mary,
Right, exactly.
and was also in The Thing.
It's also in The Thing,
Opposite
and
Kurt
in They Live with Rowdy Roddy Piper.
Yes.
And one of the longest fight scenes ever.
Fight scenes.
Yeah, but I always have to keep remembering. Okay, David Keith is the white guy. Keith David is the black guy.
You
That's the
went
only way-
there. Oh my gosh, you went there.
Yes, I went there because that's the only way I can keep it straight.
Keith David has a gap in his teeth.
Keith David has a gap in. Yeah, there you go. He has the gap in his teeth. There, that's a better way of putting
He
it.
plays the voodoo man in the Frog, the Disney, the Princess and the Frog.
Yeah,
Princess and the Frog. Yeah.
Yeah, that's right.
I got friends on the other side.
Yeah, he's done a lot of voices.
That is one of the best soundtracks in the history of filmmaking, by the way. I love the songs in that movie.
Yeah.
Okay, so Night at the Museum was my number 4.
Okay. Yeah, I was just going to say that. Yeah, that one has a lot of great Zydeco, sort of introducing a whole generation to New Orleans Zydeco and blues and stuff. So kudos to Disney for that.
And jazz.
All right. I'm sorry.
And jazz.
Yes, and jazz, of course. Yes, love me some jazz. All right. So number 4 on my list is Meet the Fockers, the sequel to Meet the Parents.
Okay.
Which, honestly, I wasn't too thrilled with Meet the Parents. I really wanted to like it because Stiller was in it, Robert De Niro. I mean, great cast, but it just didn't do it for me. Meet the Fockers, on the other hand, I think is actually a lot better. It's funny. Stiller still plays the sort of the hapless character who causes all sorts of mayhem, but then you've got Dustin Hoffman and Barbara Streisand as his parents, these very sort of 60s hippie, people, and just the contrast between them, and De Niro is very uptight, former CIA guy, it's just hilarious. And
I'm watching you.
Exactly. Yeah.
So, those got honorable mentions for me just because I felt so much for Ben Stiller's character, and he kept getting caught. He kept getting into situations where it's like, no, not again. Stop it. No.
Yeah.
So, and by the way, I said Zoolander was an honorable mention. It's number 5 on my list, actually, because
Oh,
I
okay.
flipped it with the Fockers and
Okay.
for that reason. Meet the
Yeah.
Parents.
Okay. Yeah. And I haven't seen any of the other sequels. I think there's one with the kids and all that. It's like, yeah, I think we're done here. We're done with the Fockers.
In Meet the Fockers, doesn't he teach the kid to say asshole?
Yes. Yes.
Yes, that's very funny.
Asshole.
Asshole. No, don't say that. No.
Then he calls the granddad.
Asshole.
Yeah.
Did
And
you
the whole
teach
thing
him that? Did you teach him that?
yeah. And the whole thing with the cat and yeah, very, very. And again, Owen Wilson shows up. He had a bigger part of the first movie, and he shows up at the end in this one. Nice little cameo, little callback. So
Oh yeah, Owen Wilson's gonna be there somewhere. Wow.
why did that sound like Kermit the Frog?
Kermit the Frog.
Owen Wilson as Kermit the Frog. Uh, in the Jim Henson
Did I
story.
really sound like Kermit the Frog? Oh man.
Well, a little bit, yeah. There. Anyway, all right. So my number 5, like I said, was Mystery Men.
And
And
my number 5 was Zoolander.
and so there you go. Mystery Men is actually based on it's we were talking about comic books and graphic novels earlier. It's based
Right.
on a graphic novel. They changed a little bit of the plot, obviously, for the movie, and made it more of a comedy. We didn't mention Wes Studi, great Native American actor, plays the Sphinx, I think is his character. But yeah, Jeffrey Rush is the villain, and Greg Kinnear as the superhero, the corporate superhero, as I like to call him. And of course, they even spoof the whole idea of the hero just putting on glasses as his disguise.
Right.
People are like, did you ever notice if he takes his glasses? Somebody figured it out. Like, oh, that's totally the hero. What's his Mr. Champion or whatever his name was. And I'm like, no, it's 2 different guys. Look, see, this one's wearing glasses, and like, no, it's the same guy. So that whole thing. But yeah, as far as I rank this one kind of on the same, not the same level, but yeah, kind of on the same level as Kick-Ass. Kind of the sort of down home, sort of a more realistic but still comedic view. And although the spoofing the superhero genre, it's not like they're making fun of it. It's kind of it's more of a loving spoof. Like, yeah, we know the tropes are silly, we know it's all make believe, but it's fun. Come on, it's fun. And I love William H. Macy as the shoveler. It's just a family guy. He's a family man. He's out there trying to do right, trying to do his best with a shovel as his main weapon. And Ben, not Ben, and Hank Azaria, who basically his weapons are kitchen implements that he steals from his mother. Yeah. So, but it's very funny, and it's very underrated, I think. I mean, it kind of bombed at the box office, unfortunately, but I did love
It didn't do what they were hoping it would do.
Yeah. And I mean, they could have had all sorts of sequels and what have you, but it just kind of went nowhere, unfortunately. But anyway,
I think the problem was that they spent too much money getting the people to be in it, and then they were hoping to make a lot of money coming back, and they made their money back, but they didn't make a lot above that. Until video sales. Maybe video sales they did better, but the box office they didn't make what they were hoping to make back.
Yeah. I mean, it's become kind of a cult classic since then, or a cult movie since then.
Yeah, again, it's a great movie.
But yeah, it's a great movie. beautifully shot. I mean, it looks lush. I mean, it looks like they did spend some bucks on this movie. I don't think it was advertised very well because I don't think the studio really understood, what it was. I think they were trying to sell it as a comedy, which it was for the most part, but
Mm.
it was more than that, and
Yeah.
so it's like, yeah. And so people went in thinking, oh, it's just going to be funny, haha. And it was. I mean, there were very funny moments. Uh, and you had, Ben Stiller and like we said, Pee Wee Herman, Paul Rubens.
Yeah.
So you had comedy actors in it, but it wasn't a straight comedy. And I think that's kind of what confused a lot of people.
Mm.
And, so the people who wanted to see a superhero movie were disappointed. People wanted to see a comedy were disappointed. And just the people who got it, like you and I, uh, really appreciate the movie.
Did we
So
get it?
we get it. We get it.
We got it.
We got it. Good. All right.
I enjoyed it.
All right. Yeah.
I know that much.
Honorable mentions.
Honorable mentions that we haven't talked about yet. Let me go ahead and say Secret Life of Walter Mitty.
Okay.
Not his best stuff, not his best work, but Kristen, is it Kristen Wiig? That was the leading lady in that?
I think so. Yeah.
Yeah. Kristen Wiig is wonderful in it. Everything she does is very funny. The scene where they do up Benjamin Button, where they make fun of Benjamin Button alone, is a knee slapping scene. I just loved it.
Mm.
And Sean Penn is in it and does an interesting bit of shtick that kind of it's kind of what the movie's about, really. And again, not Stiller's best work, but still very entertaining. So I thought it deserved a nod. Because again, he does go through several different transformations. Goes through. Believe it or not, I have not seen the original Secret Life of Walter Mitty with Danny Kaye.
Danny Kaye, really?
I haven't. So I really can't compare it.
Yeah.
A lot of people say the original is a lot better.
Yes.
But
I'm one of those people.
Yeah. So I can't compare it. But again, I know that there were some scenes in it that really made me laugh.
Yeah. Well, and that's all that matters.
Yeah.
I think the Danny Kaye version is probably truer to the original James Thurber story. But yeah, the Stiller version is still pretty good. I
I heard they took a lot
enough.
of liberties with this version as far as the story.
Yeah, they totally. I gotta admit, I
they had
didn't
to
like it
upgrade
enough.
it for the times,
But yeah, it's okay. Well, most of my honorable mentions we've already talked about: Tropic Thunder, Night at the Museum,
Mm-hmm.
The
Ben Stiller Show,
the Ben Stiller Show, yeah.
Madagascar.
Madagascar, yeah.
Stiller believe it or not, actually shows through when he's playing the lion in in the Madagascar movies. And again, it's got a great supporting cast. David Schwimmer, Chris Rock as a zebra, Queen Latifah, and of course Sacha Baron Cohen as King Julian. I like to move it.
Oh yeah,
I am a sexy king.
I can't hear that song anymore without thinking of that.
Without thinking about
Madagascar. Move it.
Yeah. And the other one was his. He doesn't play villains a lot, but when he does, he does them very well. And Happy Gilmore, where he plays the orderly who basically ensnares Happy Gilmore's grandmother at the nursing home and gets her to make things to sell.
Yeah.
So he's nasty in that. It's a cameo. A lot of Stiller's last 2 decades has been just cameos in a lot of stuff.
Yeah. Yeah.
Yeah, he just does like cameos. He does himself a lot. So he hasn't had really a movie in a long time where he was actually the lead character. I think
Yeah.
the last one I saw was Secret Life of Walter Mitty. There is one called, I think, Heist, which I
Hmm.
haven't seen.
Tower Heist.
Tower Heist. Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah, I
With
haven't
him,
seen it
Eddie
either.
Murphy. Yeah.
Yeah.
It got such bad reviews. I didn't think I should waste my time watching it for this show. It's
Yeah.
not going to get an honorable mention. Uh,
Well, one of my other honorable mentions is another one, had kind of a similar vibe to Something About Mary. It's called Along Came Polly. It's Ben Stiller and Jennifer Aniston,
okay.
and Stiller plays this the world's most cautious man. He's very risk averse,
I can see him playing that.
very uptight character. And he he goes back to his hometown, and he meets this girl named Polly, played by Jennifer Aniston, who he had a crush on like back in high school or whatever. And she's very much this free spirit, very kind of just loosey goosey, just yeah, just carefree. So he doesn't know how to act. I mean, he likes her, but she's just too extra for him. Uh, and so she kind of teaches him little by little to loosen up and be a little less uptight. It's a funny movie. Not as good as Something About Mary, but
Mm,
still worth a watch, I think.
yeah.
And it's one of his early roles. So yeah, but it ranked an honorable mention for me.
Okay.
Um, I don't know if I did. I mention Tropic Thunder. I think I did, but
Yeah.
yeah, that's another really good one. Um, oh, and I didn't really put it on my list, but I got to mention Stiller and Owen Wilson, their version of what was the
Starsky and
70s
Hutch.
cop show, Starsky and Hutch.
Starsky and Hutch. Oh, you know what? I
Yeah,
totally forgot about that when we were getting ready for this.
yeah, yeah.
Yeah.
Uh, Again, they took it, kind of made it more into a comedy. It's more of a spoof, but it was all right. I didn't absolutely hate it. Didn't like it. Well, I shouldn't
Isn't
say I
Vince
didn't like
Vaughn
it.
the villain in that?
Yeah, I think
Yeah.
so. Yeah.
And Snoop
Um,
Doggy Dog is Huggy Bear, right?
Huggy Bear. Yeah, yeah. Well, no, I shouldn't say
They
I
had
didn't
the
like
right
it.
idea.
It was I, I I don't know. I just have this thing that if you're gonna, I don't know. I think probably the reason is because Starsky and Hutch was one of my favorite cop shows back in
Mm.
the day. That and
You don't think it was respectful to the
the
original
Torino.
material?
I just didn't feel it was respectful. It wasn't as bad. It wasn't as bad as I Spy. That with
Eddie Murphy.
with Eddie Murphy. Thank you. I don't know why I keep blanking on his name. With Eddie
Wasn't that
Murphy,
Owen
that was
Wilson?
and Owen Wilson. Yeah.
Oh wow.
Oh, that was
You know, it's
terrible.
funny how Owen Wilson
Hated that
is
one.
always in like buddy films. He
Yeah.
started out with Jackie Chan, and he ended up with Ben Stiller.
Yeah. 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 Now that one I absolutely hated. Because to me, talk about disrespectful. I Yeah, because I I'm not old enough to have seen I Spy, first run. I saw it in reruns later on, but it was a really good show. It was a groundbreaking show because it was the first show that had an
Mhm.
African American actor in the lead as a co-lead.
It's one of the
And it's
leads. Yeah.
Bill Cosby and uh, man
Robert Culp.
and Robert Culp. Thank you.
Um,
And it's a
Did
great
that
little
come
show.
out after Mission Impossible though, with Barney?
No, it
I
came
mean,
out
it was
before.
one of them, yeah, because we
It came
had
out
her on
before.
Star Trek. That was '67. I'm
Yeah.
thinking Mission Impossible was about the same, 1967. You might be
Yeah.
right. It might have been 66 when that show came out.
Yeah, early 60s.
Yeah.
Yeah. Um.
Hey,
So
that Bill Cosby is the
yeah,
the first black secret agent.
hey, it's hidden radio in the Tootsie Pops. But
I got the secret radio in the lollipop. Yes, this is about it. In the French pop. Yes.
yeah.
Oh, I forgot to put the roof in there. God.
Oh, talk about a throwback.
Trying to put a secret agent from Russia out.
Exactly.
So anyway. That deserved an honorable mention.
Just that itself, yeah. But I did like that at the end of Starsky and Hutch, the actual original actors had a cameo. David Soul and Michael Glazer. David Michael Glazer came out, and I thought, oh, well, that's nice, And they had the same the jackets and the whole outfits, and they're like, wait, oh, hey, yeah, I like your. That was a nice little nod, But anyway, I did like the A-Team. I thought that was really well done. Apropos of completely nothing.
Well. With
Liam Neeson in the
Liam Neeson. I have a special set of skills, but now I'm on the A-Team.
yeah.
And who did the Mr. T character on that?
Oh, that was
I haven't seen it. I've just seen like clips.
Yeah. It's not.
Now that you said you liked it, I'm probably gonna look it up.
It's not Duncan. It's not Michael Duncan.
Michael Clark Duncan?
No, it wasn't
Ving
him.
Rhames? I always get those two confused. Ving Rhames and Michael Clark Duncan.
Yeah.
Oh no, man!
Just
tell me, was it Tracy Morgan?
No, it wasn't Tracy Morgan. That would have been hilarious.
He used to do the voice for Mr. T on the cartoons, the Smigel cartoons on Saturday Night Live. All right, do your drugs. Forget your homework. Go to school.
Yeah.
But nothing on Saturday Night Live beats Robin Duke doing Mrs. T. I'm being a fool. Robin Duke as Mrs. T.
Mrs. T.
Yesterday on Facebook, or I'm sorry, on TikTok, I did Robin Duke's. She inspired me to do.
It's Shelly Wiz. I'm a good swimmer. I'm a good swimmer. I am. I'm a good swimmer.
Oh.
I put that on TikTok.
From Poseidon Adventure, yeah.
Yes, from Poseidon Adventure. But every now and again, they would throw her in a fat suit, and there's Shelley Winter somewhere.
Yeah.
And she would always. She would always start everything.
Oh, that was
really long.
Yeah.
That used to crack me up.
I'm a good swimmer.
A good swimmer, yeah. Well, all righty. Well,
the Ben Stiller show was a really fun show. That is some of his best work.
Yes.
And the one that stood out with me was Cape Munster when at the time the movie Cape Fear came out.
Mm.
And they did a sketch where he was Eddie Munster grown up, but he was being the Robert De Niro character from Cape Fear.
Oh my goodness! Oh wow!
It was called Cape Munster, and Janine Garofalo played the young teenage girl, and she had the braces. You want to hear something? He was doing De Niro, but Eddie Munster. He was dressed up like Eddie Munster, with the shorts and the black socks and everything.
Oh man!
Great, smoking cigars. think Andy Dick was playing the father. And at that time, he was so scrawny, it was really funny. So that if you find it on YouTube, I'm sure. Kate Munster.
Oh, Kate
Very
Munster.
funny.
Okay, I'm gonna look that up.
And he
I
plays the
remember
Munster
watching.
theme.
Yeah, I remember watching the Stiller show. I just don't remember individual episodes, but it was
He
on.
used to like to do Bono from U2.
Yes,
I
I do
remember him
that.
doing the Happy Clovers breakfast cereal commercial with U2.
Yes. Yes.
And he used to like to do stories about Bruce Springsteen being heroic, like
Mhm.
like birthing babies in bars and stuff. Yeah, push. Funny stuff.
Yeah.
And Odenkirk, Bob Odenkirk was on that show.
Bob Odenkirk. Yeah.
Yeah. Before he did
Before he hooked up with
Dave Cross,
Cross,
Mr. Show.
Mr.
Yeah, Mr. Show, Dave Cross.
Yeah, that was a great
Yeah, he
show.
cut his teeth on the Ben Stiller show.
Yeah. Well, Odenkirk's had kind of an interesting career as well. Not just doing comedy, but he's done a lot of straight roles as well. So.
Yeah, well, he showed his dramatic chops on Breaking Bad,
Right. Yeah.
And then Better Call Saul.
Better Call Saul. Yeah. I think it would have been funny. Yeah, probably would have been too meta, too inside if David Cross had a character on Breaking Bad as well. Put those two together again. Yeah.
I was waiting for it. I was waiting for it on Better Call Saul, but
yeah,
it didn't happen.
Didn't happen. Did you ever see that one that Bob Odenkirk, where he was like the almost kind of a Liam Neeson character? He did like an action movie. I forget what it had, like a really simple, like one name title. It's almost like a kind of a John Wick type character, where he just he's this family man, but he used to be like, I don't know, some kind of agent or whatever. And there's these bad guys, and they start harassing people, and then he kind of goes off, and he has to go back to the old life. It's like.
Now, is this a movie or a sketch?
No, it's a movie. It's an actual movie.
A movie.
Yeah, and
Odenkirk doesn't look like your secret agent type, but
no, that's what's
that's the whole idea, though.
That's the whole idea. Is that
it was like a True Lies kind of thing, but light.
Yeah. No, I mean, the action is like I said, it's kind of a John Wick level of just beat him up, shoot him up kind of deal. And I'm looking at this, I'm like, but that's Bob Odenkirk. How is he the action hero in this? But he pulls it
Connery
off.
wore a toupee.
Yeah, but he pulls it off. I mean, you really you accept him as this character, because he seems so milquetoast and so ordinary, and then he turns it up. So anyway, kudos to him. I know we were talking about Ben Stiller, but now we're talking about Bob Odenkirk. But that's how this thing
We had
goes.
a few minutes.
Maybe we had a
few minutes. We can digress a little.
We can digress. Yeah. So, Miss Renee, what do you think about Ben Stiller? What are your thoughts?
To be honest, I don't have as much experience with Ben Stiller. I have a lot of experience with Bob Odenkirk, so I could say I'm kind of a huge fan. I mean, I listened to all of his interviews. I'm obsessed with him after being introduced to him, not with Mr. Show, but with Breaking Bad. So he just had a heart attack, I think about 2 years ago, and
oh wow,
he had to work through that. I think it was on set or something, and it was kind of like a John Ritter thing, but he's been working through that, and he's getting back into everything. But we almost lost him actually a couple years ago.
Wow.
But yeah, the warmth that he brought to the Breaking Bad character Saul Goodman, and when they pitched that to him, he was totally in shock. He said, "What? Why would you want me to be a lawyer? That's like so weird as a dramatic role." And they said, well, we just think you can do it. You're so likable, and and it's gotta have some kind of a lightheartedness to it. And he said, well, I'll do it if I could have a mullet. And so they said, okay, you can have a mullet. He just said the guy's gotta have a mullet. So he did it. But yeah, Ben Stiller, very likable. Ben Stiller, we haven't talked about how he was on Curb Your Enthusiasm. He was highly
Oh,
Well,
he was
we'll wait
highlighted.
for you
Ben
to mention
Stiller.
it.
Yep. Yeah, and he was very, very funny in it, and, like many characters on Curb Your Enthusiasm, he made himself look really bad. So there was, like, a whole year where I didn't like Ben Stiller because I it was so convincing. Schwimmer did that as well, David Schwimmer. Uh,
They're
uh
all picking on Larry David.
yeah, like, they bring Jason Alexander did that too. Like, if you're gonna play yourself on Curb Your Enthusiasm, you have to make yourself unsympathetic. So Ben Stiller did that very well. He was very petty, very arrogant. You end up kind of hating him after the season, but that was great improv too. Great improv work. So apparently he's good at improv. I didn't know if he would shine in that role. I didn't think he was a great fit for Curb Your Enthusiasm, and he proved me wrong. He was very, very convincing, and again, just an all-around great talent, and of course comes from Hollywood royalty, kind of, right? So he was raised
Yeah.
in that. So in a way, it makes perfect sense that he's as successful as he is. He had all of the natural chops, and then he put the hard work in. He's a hard worker. He shows up, he gets it done, and he respects the industry. So it's great.
It's funny you say he grew up in royalty in California because, the opening to his Ben Stiller show has the Hollywood sign, has shots of, the streets there in L.A. So yeah,
Yep,
um,
that's his childhood, I mean, that's
yeah,
what he grew up with, and, but he's a likable guy, apparently. People say he's very easy to get along with. You don't have a lot of, like, bad blood there. He's
I can see
apparently very
that.
down to earth, yeah. That's what we
Yeah,
hear anyways.
again, if his characters are so likable, that makes
Yeah,
sense.
yeah. And if anyone's interested, we were talking about Bob Odenkirk as well. That movie I was talking about is called Nobody, where he plays the
Nobody.
action hero. It's called Nobody. If you want to watch it, if you want to watch,
Renee, if you could help us with the credits here, Greg is saying some things.
Yeah, so Greg says, I'm here. However, Ben Stiller is not trusted. There was a time he accepted every role for a time. That's like the Nicolas Cage thing, where Nick Cage was accepting everything. And then Greg said, wasn't Saul that dude, Oaken something? Yeah, Odenkirk. Yes.
Bob Odenkirk.
Yes,
Now,
that's
there's
right.
another Odenkirk. I'm not sure if it's his brother or not. I think I heard that somewhere. Who does the Thumb movies? Thumbtanic and
oh,
Bat Thumb, and does all those.
it may be.
The God Thumb.
It could possibly be. Yeah,
Thumb Wars.
Thumb Wars.
That's probably the most popular one. Thumb Wars. Oh, I'm naked. Yeah, he puts little faces on thumbs and little hats and things, and then he makes movies.
Yeah,
That's the other Odenkirk. I want to say Mike Odenkirk. So,
Okay, so what are we doing next week? Did we decide yet?
next week we're going to talk about a director, probably not a household name, but still an incredible list of or incredible oeuvre of movies. Mr. William Friedkin will be our subject next week.
okay.
There's at least one movie that if you're a horror fan, you'll absolutely know what it is that he directed. So I'm not going to say it. We'll save that for next week.
Save it for next week.
That way we leave everybody in suspense. It's a cliffhanger, folks. So anyway, so that's what we're doing next week. All right. Well, I guess
Great
we'll
car
wrap
chases.
this up. Yeah, and great car. Yeah. So thank you for watching, and we'll see everybody next week. Thanks for watching this episode of Two Guys and Sometimes a Gal Talking About Movies. Be sure to like, subscribe, and click that notification bell to get future episodes.